Alright, how's it going? King of the Zeds here, and the other day I ran some tests to try and find out which is better for getting radiators and brass the fastest in 7 Days to Die. While I tell you about it and give you the results, on screen are all the POIs that have 4 or more radiators in them to help you figure out which ones to hit when you need brass fast. You can look each one of these up on the free 7 Days to Die map viewer online. I've put a link in the description to that. But onto the test, here's what I did. Starting with a brand new character on day 1, after doing the tutorial missions and getting into the nearest town, I spent 25 minutes in real world time, so basically from about 1:30 PM in game till 10 PM in game, looting 2 of the houses in this list and grabbing all the radiators inside. One was a tier 1 and the other was a tier 3, just by chance those were the 2 houses I came across first. And then I did the same thing all over again, except this time I spent that same 25 minutes only wrenching cars. So here are the results. So based on 25 minutes of raiding houses, we gathered 17 radiators, 5 doorknobs, 4 trophies, for a total of 4,700 brass, which is enough to craft 783 bullet casings because it takes 6 brass per bullet casing. And compare that to 25 minutes of wrecking cars, we got 8 radiators, 2 trophies, 1 candlestick, for a total of 2,250 brass, which is less than half. However, here's the catch. Here's the thing that I didn't even really think about until it happened. Comparing what you're gathering when raiding houses to salvaging cars, you're actually getting all these other resources when you salvage cars. Now, a lot of this you won't want to sell because it's actually really useful stuff for crafting and building and doing everything else involved with the game. But if you are just on a pure brass gathering mission, and you wanted to just basically sell everything that you've salvaged, including engines, batteries, mechanical parts, and everything like that, then on this particular test, I actually gathered enough stuff to raise 6,273 casino tokens at the trader, and that's not even counting the fact that I've got all these batteries that I still couldn't sell because he only wants 3 per day. Now, when you take that into account, if you're just going to smelt all of that money, then that's going to give you enough brass for 1,045 bullet casings, and that's on top of the brass that you actually salvaged. Now, comparing that to selling the sellable loot that we got from the houses, it actually doesn't really compare very well at all, because as we can see, we only got about 500 or so coin from selling the stuff that we looted in the 2 houses. So let's just have a quick look at the totals. So for the houses, if we just assume that we're selling everything and using the proceeds for smelting directly into brass in the forge, then raiding houses, 5,217 brass, salvaging cars, 8,523. Now, keep in mind that this test was done on a brand new character on day 1, and these results are going to vary the further you progress and increase your loot stage, because the houses are going to provide higher tier loot the longer you've been playing. And I actually repeated this same exact test on the maximum loot stage of 300, and at that point, the sale value of the loot from these same 2 houses in the test was about 4,500. Now, that's not quite as much still as selling the stuff that you salvage from the cars. However, this is a very small test, and over time, the more houses you loot, the more you'll be able to increase the sale value of the loot by adding looted mods to looted weapons and armor, and so on. Also keep in mind that the 2 houses I happened to raid on this test were a tier 3 and a tier 1. Looting higher tier houses will provide higher value items, but typically they might take a little bit longer to get through. So to answer the question of whether it's best to do one or the other, if you're absolutely desperate for brass and you need the most brass possible as quickly as possible, even if it's boring just spending a day salvaging cars, then go ahead and do that. That's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck in terms of time. But if you just want to concentrate on playing the game, but you want to play it in a way that's going to give you the most brass passively as you're playing and collecting radiators as you go along, then doing that and tending towards these high radiator houses is going to be the way forward, because it's more varied, more fun, and just less tedious and feels less like a grind. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you did and you want to see more and you want to help support the channel, then just hit the subscribe button that should be popping up on the screen right now. And also check out my tips and tutorials playlist for 7 Days to Die for more helpful videos just like this one. Thank you for watching. See you next time.